All right, it's 6:30. We'll call the meeting to order here. So for this evening, we have a quorum of the directors here. Raid will not be able to make it as he is on vacation, driving somewhere. Proof of notice, we had this posted on the exit gate board as well as the website within the prescribed amount of time. Prior meeting minutes, I had sent those out to everybody as Maria had captured them. Questions on them or anything you saw for changes, board?
They seem good.
Okay. If not, then I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll go through our status reports here, our committee status reports. From continuing business, we have one item about the ARB in violation reassignment, and then new business, access control enhancements, and then final close things out with the homeowner forum as always. Status report wise, for the month here was basically break-even month. It was overall $830 unfavorable for the month. Income, we were favorable there. G&A, as you can see, we're about $2,000 unfavorable, driven primarily by legal expenses, and those are actually about 45 days of legal expenses. We never really get to book 30, a full 30. It's either 45 or 60 based upon how the invoices get submitted to us. Grounds were favorable for the month. The gatehouse was $1,800 unfavorable. I'm assuming that's the timing, but we will have to take a look at that to make sure what is pure timing and if there's been that 3% price increase that came through. Yeah, that's something we have to follow up on.
Mm-hmm.
Gatehouse repairs, we did have multiple repairs on the maintenance side, and that was with electrical, and then we also did some work, and that was that was on the reserve with replacement sub pump and that whole saga that went on over the past month. Utilities, it was about $700 unfavorable, electricity, and then netted off by irrigation a bit. Reserves are what they are, so total expenses were $1,400 unfavorable. Year to date, as you can see, we are favorable overall income. Looking at that G&A, you have some classification with miscellaneous, legal fees, printing, offset by favorable management and social. Grounds, routine infrastructure maintenance, miscellaneous repairs, and then tree trimming. Help to explain that. The gatehouse, we're still overall favorable by about $6,000 on the overall security services. Gatehouse repairs, we have had some stuff kind of break down up there.
Yep.
So that has driven the $1,200 unfavorable. And then supplies, obviously, as we trying to get them more and more to keep them up in stock in terms of paper, towels, cleaning supplies, all that kind of stuff. Utilities are favorable by $3,000. So overall expenses are favorable $5,000 year to date with your net income. So we're about $8,200 favorable overall for the year to what we said our budget would be. Key metrics here, looking at the expense days on hand. Obviously we're still extremely robust with 587 expense days on hand. Net income there, we're still at the 4.3. Looking at, we're tracking ahead, almost the full 3 points ahead of last year. Still working to catch up some ground here as we move into the last 6 months of the year, really 7 months of reporting to see how close we can get to our stretch target of 9.5%. Receivables, we had a solid month there. As you notice, last month, in April, we had about $33,500 in outstanding or age receivables. This year our total was, this month for May, our total was $20,000, a little over $20,000. So, we can see there on the right-hand chart, we're trying to target 5% or less in terms of, as it relates to net revenue, as to what our percent of outstanding assessment receivables are. So right now we're sitting at 4%, which is pretty solid. That's going back to what we kind of achieved in 2016, and hopefully get it back down to 2017 levels here. Aging on the receivables, you can see our averages are in blue, and then in gray is the month of May. We had a 28% reduction as we closed out one of the accounts in the 90+ days area. So that's dropped that pretty significantly there. And that's really what kind of drove that overall performance in the accounts or age receivables area for assessments. The dashboard here, it has been loaded to the website if you need a bigger copy, but just some of the key things to highlight, the road and curb repairs were completed. We did complete the tennis court fence, that was done. Our tennis court gate replacement, those are almost completed. We just have to put in the locks.
Looks nice up there.
Yeah, so I will be sending an email out because we do have the new keys in. So people will have to go up there and exchange their tennis key for new tennis key, old tennis key for new tennis key. I just want to work with Alan to make sure him and Carmelo are aware of, what they have to do to trade these out. And then we will target to have those new locks put in on Monday. I think I put a message back to Alden. They can come and install Monday. An item we'll talk about later here, I've got a couple slides around some potential access control enhancements. So started looking at some different things. As you know, we've had the struggles with the security company and looking to potentially take that contract out to bid. And one of the things is how can we make this process better in terms of more efficient, more digital, trying to harden the processes that we have in terms of the front access and exit gate access. And part of that, it comes from the website redesign. I think we need to shift that back because, looking at this, a lot of the premise of what we're looking at doing with Leland was going to be custom built solutions, whereas I think if we have a backbone architecture that we can start, plugging in different software off the shelf, I think that would be a better route. That modular approach, will allow us to, do that in a much more efficient, much more reliable fashion than custom code, which it sounds easy, but it never is in terms of carrot and feeding. So online dashboard here for June. So we see that the average time spent on the website continues to increase. That's about a 3-month trend. We're having registered users, email subscribers, and online voting subscriptions rise as we've had home sales and people are turning over homes and new people are signing up as they come on board. So that's good to see. Our pages per visit increased 16% month over month. So you can see that anybody who gets on the website on average is looking at about 10 pages or 10 clicks through it, different things. And then as you can see, and this has been since we started this this dashboard, the access by tablet or phone it continues to increase with the PC desktop models dropping. So you're seeing more and more tablets and phones taking, accessing the site. So we'll move into the committee status reports. IRB here, we had 3 meetings from the last, ARB had 3 meetings from the last time we met as a board. Mike, I see you're here, and I know you sent me something, but maybe I didn't get a chance to put it in, but maybe you could elucidate on your update.
Yeah, there's no outstanding ARBs. They're all adjudicated. Leland has the information. All the homeowners have been notified. They were all approved. Let's see, 10825, that was with the canal, with the new construction. You signed the paperwork. They've got it, so they're off and running. The 8701 Scenic Oak Court, that's the issue with the setback. I've heard no changes. That goes in front of the county commission on July 2nd. That's a county issue. HOA has no say in that. Maria, thank you for your covenant enforcement. Each time I walk the community, I'm amazed at the number of people correcting. However, we did have an issue 10647 Boca Point Drive. I think they got a declining landscape. They overachieved and they redid all their sod. They redid all their shrubs and all that stuff. They just forgot to file the ARB request for the shrubs. Looking at it, there's nothing there that we would have denied, and so we may have to send them a letter thanking them for correcting everything and reminding that significant landscape changes need.
It's going to be more of a friendly notice, not like a customized.
Yeah, we need to work because they invested a lot, and basically they went from dirt and dead shrubs to a very well landscaped. They didn't change the landscape beds or anything, so it would have been approved if they had filed.
Okay.
10814 Emerald Chase, that's the other new construction. I was given a heads up that there are forms in place for what appeared to be 2 aprons, which implies a circular driveway. When we approved it, we did not approve a circular driveway. It was a straight-in driveway to the house. So I reached out to the home construction company, talked to the gentleman. So they are going to file an ARB request. So next Friday, the 28th, we will be having an ARB meeting. I did request that he attend because I know circular driveways do tend to get a little bit more attention, especially given the space available for the circular driveway. He understands that we do require at least a 5 foot between the sidewalk and the circular driveway, and shrubs and ways to mitigate the expanse of concrete. However, he has a concrete truck scheduled to arrive either tomorrow or Friday for the concrete. I did advise him that you really shouldn't do that. He understands they were going to pour at risk. There is expansion joints, so he does understand if we don't approve it, he will have to take the apron out, which his decision. Bottom line is, I think most cases you have to buy a truckload of concrete, so
Doesn't matter.
you're kind of
yeah,
right.
true.
So let's see, and I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Next items here, we'll go through the charts as we continue to evolve on the violation management side. So these charts have been published out to the website. If you go under where you can find your the online dashboard as well as the project chart, you'll also have a section now with these charts on them as we kind of get into a rhythm of monitoring this and kind of seeing how we can manage it better. So for May, we had 124 violations. The green bar there, we had 21 closed, and in the last inspection, we had 16 opens, which netted us to 119 open violations for the month of June. So, about a 4% reduction overall. A lot of those were in the roof category, because there were a lot of people who, after the notices went out, started getting the roofs clean. Landscaping was about flat month over month, and then all other went up by about 3 overall. And usually the dirty roof and the landscaping are the 80% plus of our violations. So that's why we kind of watch them specific.
And we got a thank you letter from a homeowner.
Yes, we
It's
did.
nice to hear.
I did get a thank you letter from a homeowner. Open violations by category, we have the exterior, the landscaping, structures on equipment, mailbox issues, and trash containers. Those are for the month of June. And then you can see the violations broken down by neighborhood, and then still looking and focusing on dirty roof, landscaping, and all other. So, and looking at the data for the month of June results, 89% of the violations are dirty roofs and landscaping related.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's trending to our historical. And you do have a tornado chart on the website also. It shows you the 10-year historical of all the violations. I
Is
think
that where the
1,480 violations over 10 years or whatever.
Mm.
And then it shows you exactly, everything's in home, exterior, the roofs, and then the landscaping. Social committee, Nick, anything to report? I don't have any
Nope.
items here. I will say for social, the flags that we have, some folks that put up on like Flag Day you had, and then 4th of July, Veterans Day,
Mhm.
they had reached out and asked if they could get new flags, if that was something the HOA could take care of, and I said, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So it's $40.
For all of them?
Yeah. So
All right.
that replaced all the flags that you see. So they're a little taller, so they don't drag on the ground and everything. So I didn't think that was bad at all. So those are, I think the new ones were put into service for Flag Day was last Friday.
Yep.
Yeah. So you'll see a $40 charge of actuals next month
Right.
for social. IT here, like I mentioned on the website, we're going to review our options on the gate management software to see what we can buy off the shelf and plug in and see how that can integrate. Obviously, that'll send the website into a down the road, so to speak, but we can still develop the other things around it, and the feature functionality around the e-forms and things of that nature. Domain, we did, in the last newsletter, I think I put in there, we did create a series of specific domain related email accounts, so now there's no more need to use anything from Gmail. It can all go to whatever it is, the list of the 7 or 8 accounts at turtlecreek.com or turtlecreekhoa.com, excuse me. Infrastructure and access control. Still from a financial perspective, we're still running right where we think we are to come in favorable forecast year to date, as well as our actuals so far tracking to that. Summary, I mentioned the tennis court fence was replaced, the gate replacement is in process, curb replacement was done. We did have the monument signs and the entrance and exit, those black wrought iron fences were pressure washed and pressure cleaned, so that's done. We had talked about having an arborist come in. It's time to have someone take a look at the common area trees and do a full report. So actually we have 3 arborists contacted and their proposals are in process, and actually had another one who reached out today who was on vacation and said they would like to put it in also, so we'll have 4 total proposals for that. And then the new AC unit is, when I did the slide, it was supposed to be tomorrow, but it's actually going to be Friday, the 21st. So the gatehouse will get a new, their new air conditioning unit, since that one is on its last leg, and it died, and then it came back suddenly, and it's getting too warm and hot and humid to fool around with that. Access control, and I'll let you can weigh in too, Nick. I know you talked to Alan a lot there, but you know the guard staffing continues to be an issue up there. I think we got to sit down with Jose from Allied Universal or whatever they're calling themselves these days, and discuss this. But I think it's that time we need to start developing an RFP to take it out to bid, because I mean it's not getting any better. I mean we're having Dionisius working the overtime. Yeah. We're having Carmelo is staying till 6 a lot. Last couple nights. Alan's coming in and just not getting anybody. And the one person we did have. Well, we had 2 people come back, a young lady who was at the post before that we got rid of, that got sent back, and then another person who basically worked a shift and then didn't come back again. So it continues to be an issue.
And then the guy that left in the middle of the shift, had to run some errands.
Oh yeah, that guy.
7-Eleven dude.
Yeah. So obviously I don't know what they're doing relative to their staffing or whatnot, so
it's been a while, it's time.
Yeah, I don't, we've been with them for at least, I want to say if I go back to the
But
first
they've been
one.
having issues for a long time. It's not this one-off, right? They're
No,
consistently having
no.
issues.
Month
now.
after month, they're not meeting the quality that we're expecting. It's not. Yes, we have a history with them, but it's coming to the point of they're not meeting quality. We really should be looking at other options that are going to improve quality. Especially reliability. Reliability is number 1 because they have none so far.
Yeah, and another thing, I don't want to see, those guys are getting tired up there from working all the overtime and everything, and it's, I don't think it's too much to expect that you have a set schedule and plug it in and get it done.
Yeah.
So, because we'd really be in trouble, let's say, Carmelo wins the lottery and leaves. I mean, who's going to handle who's going to handle that morning? I mean, he handles it well because that's when all the vendors are really coming in, and being bilingual, that helps a ton up there too.
Big time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, they have enough people so that if one calls out, is sick, everything falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that shouldn't be. That's just a crumbling infrastructure for them, and it's not organized at all. I mean, if one of these guys gets sick, which is all fine, let them have a sick day, that's all normal. But it's just ridiculous that they can't get a replacement or that they don't have people that are reliable,
Mm-hmm.
So. But yeah, we need to look at some other people, some other companies.
So that's something we'll have to start putting together in terms of,
Yeah.
what do we need to do to get something out there on
Yeah.
that, so we can work together on that.
Yeah.
And obviously this isn't going to happen overnight type of thing. We spend too much money I mean, it's about $148,000 for that contract yearly. So, I mean, this is gonna,
Yeah.
take a little bit of time to make sure we have the right scope and what we're expecting, and do some kind of benchmarking also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add on access control? I don't remember any specific issues other than just mechanical crap at the club,
Yeah.
or the gatehouse.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the guards up there, this is more for residents that are listening from the stream, or residents here. You know, those guys have it really tough up there. One of the guards had to go to the bathroom. He was gone for 40 seconds, and we got a formal complaint against him. 40 seconds. So, I don't know about any of you guys, but 40 seconds is quite a rush to go to the bathroom. So, basically, we need to, reiterate, these guys are trying their hardest. A lot of them are tired. Like I said, 3 of them just did overtime to about, they did over 8 hours in a day. They've got to hold high standards, but they're getting exhausted. So we need to be understanding of the situation that they're in. Need to be a little more lenient with the situation, because it's very demotivating for them, especially when they have to hear a formal complaint when they had to go to the bathroom, or when when they're working trying to get 3 things done at once. So I hope the best for them, and I hope we can keep them, because they definitely have it high stress every day there. So, but that's about it.
And you make a good point. That's one of those things we're going to have to see if we can put in the RFP to see if we can take some folks along if they want to go. Carmelo,
Yeah.
Alan, and Dionysius. If we can, if they're open to it. I haven't had that discussion with them. But if we get ready to take it out to bid, we probably want to put that in there as a contingent. Taking these resources who know the post and know what's going on.
Already experienced enough with it.
Yeah. So I think that takes care of access control and infrastructure. Continuing business, I don't really have a slide here, just the one item about the ARB in violation assessment, or reassignment, excuse me. We had Tom Slayton in last month to talk about that. I passed along the notes, conversation I had with Tom on that from a board perspective. Like I responded to Maria, we haven't received anything yet to take a look at, because we'll need some kind of proposal to do a reassignment. If Avalon HOA wants to take that over, then we can have whatever they send over submitted to Tom. He's aware of it, and he would take a look at it and obviously provide guidance or his opinion on it thereafter. Let's see. New business, we've got the gatehouse management. I said the potential enhancements. So as we're looking ahead, in the contract and how we're gonna, potentially remake that area up there in terms of, the potential vendor change and whatnot, it's probably time to see, exactly what people around us do in terms of other communities with gates that, have lifeguards. Which are few, but there are a handful that we can, benchmark here locally as well as, throughout the state or wherever. We do see that, there is an increase in the license plate reader. So you have a, specific camera that's mounted at the entrance and the exit gate that will capture the license plate number, archive it into the data, into the program, and that's why it's probably important to have an off-the-shelf software solution, because you don't want to be trying to build captures and recognition from scratch. So we'll buy something off the shelf that has this functionality and get the cameras and put them in. And that's one of those things. We did increase the overall size of our cloud storage, so we added another 10 terabytes on that, because we were getting, with what we're saving down and everything, we increased the rate on a few cameras. Lincoln did that for better performance. It's chewing up more memory. So, we have that. But this is another one that, it's going to be, strictly digitized. It's siloed. That information, is obviously kept secure. And, we have that into the cloud and have that so we can monitor who's going in and who's going out. Driver's license scanning, they do this at Islesworth. When we go over there, you have to scan it. There are multiple scanners there, from portable to optical to pass-through. And then again, that's just matched into the software program. It picks it up, logs it in, so you have an exact date, stamp, time. And what it also does is it alleviates some of the manual work in terms of handwriting up there, because they're putting in.
And that would stop the backup onto the road too, right? Would it go
Some of it.
faster? It'd go
Some
faster?
of it, I think some of it, a fair amount, what I've heard is, they're calling multiple times for somebody to come in.
Yeah.
They're not getting it on the first number, then they gotta go to the second and third, and then they don't get, gotta try it again. And that forces a backup up there.
Oh, okay.
It's the calling. If it takes, let's say, 15, 20 seconds for it to dial and then for it to go to voicemail, then they have to hang up, look up the other number, call again. It's a minute later, you could have 2 more cars added onto the line,
Right.
and then the next one in line has the same issue.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I mean, it's more about the calling and homeowners. That's a whole different issue. This will most likely be faster than them having to write it all down, especially how clean they write. Some of them,
I was gonna say,
especially
plus
some of them, yeah, penmanship. Some that we've had in there were like, that's not English. Those are scribbles. We have no idea who that is.
Yeah, and this is very solid tech. This is
Yeah,
nothing new,
yeah.
right? It's solid
All
technology.
the schools use this.
Yeah.
Well, I think we had it, didn't we, like a year ago or something? Something happened inside the community. They left, and we had to pull up the cameras for the vehicle. But then we just had the vehicle, and we were like, "What does the license plate
So we
say?"
definitely can't seem to get what
we
we
didn't
need.
know whose face it was, because they go through hundreds of cars.
Well, and
So
and then you're manually
this
looking
is-
that up on paper,
Yeah.
a log for
Mhm.
something, when they came in, which, it's ridiculous how much paper we go through. That has to, be shredded after a certain amount of time. This can just digitize it, and archive it, and it's
It's
done.
carried up on the
it's
cloud.
definitely a
All the time.
clean system, a very clean way of processing information.
So it pairs with the system we have up there.
We don't have a
No,
system
No, we'd
like
probably
that.
have to have
We have an
their own
access,
software.
we have an
Oh,
access
that-
database up
Oh,
there.
that's right, we still
That
have
I-
that damn
Yeah, I've tweaked that thing as
And
much
that
as
thing's
it can
super
go.
old.
data. Yeah, okay.
It's not going any further.
It's slow.
But, yeah.
It's slow. It's
So
very
what
old.
would this pair up to? Where would it go then? To the camera
Well, this
stuff?
is why you have, like, the next slide here, we have the database management. So you can see on the right-hand side, you have, we'll probably have to get something kind of touch screen, for them, something to
That's
help.
easy.
Yeah, something to make it a little bit more, I guess you want to say, efficient than the keyboard and moving a mouse around. It should be set to this, and then you basically have your same information you have in the Access database. It's just now, none of this is new. It just sits now in something that's
Yeah.
Just
hosted
presents it
and has a
differently.
better looking GUI on the front end of it,
Mhm.
and it's easier to ramble through, and it's synced to the cloud already.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other item is the reporting and analysis that can come out of this, because right now, I have an idea based upon some of the work that I've had Alan do and I've done myself looking at logs. What's our busy time of the day, what day of the week, when do you have more landscapers coming? All that can be now analyzed here, where you can take a look and see, did you have more, when do you need to ramp up? Is there a need for potentially a second guard or something, during a certain time of the year where we have more parties, like say Christmas or something, something like that to help alleviate it with a handheld driver's license scanner. You can go and, get people started sooner in the process to, keep that loop going, so to speak, so.
Yeah.
But again, this is one of those that is, there are some vendors that I've already kind of reached out to send over information, just on your products, how they integrate, what's the requirements, hardware and software. Because obviously we're gonna have to work with Leland and PC Geeks to go to make sure that we have the infrastructure in place to take care of all this when we plug it in. And then I wanna also make sure we have a clean way for homeowners to update the stuff from their own computer versus calling
So
up their.
eventually, that's what I was getting ready to ask.
Mhm.
Eventually it'll
Online,
work
yeah.
with the website to.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's a good segue into that, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, probably the slowest things is going to be, for them at least, it's going to be the system, looking up numbers and then calling. So that's
Right.
probably where we'll
Mhm.
find the most efficiency issues, is if we can speed up them finding owners' phone numbers, because there's no way that they can remember every homeowner's phone number. I would be very impressed if they can do that. But I mean, if they could look that stuff up faster, that cuts out 5-10 seconds. That just multiplies over all those vehicles, you know.
Right.
So yeah, software is going to be important.
Yeah, and that's why it's going to be important from the usability standpoint, which, you know,
Yeah.
this stuff is accepted everywhere. So I don't find, you know,
Yeah.
it's not going to be difficult to learn, hopefully.
Right.
But then how does it exactly connect to everything that we have? The
Yeah.
cloud storage infrastructure, the the firewalls that we have
Yeah.
deployed there.
I mean, it
you
all
know.
has to hang together, but I don't think that that's something that is gonna challenge us to overcome, I think.
No, but
That's
I
gonna
am
be
quite
easy
interested to
enough
see
to do.
how we integrate it effectively with the website infrastructure. So then you can get to, as a homeowner, you can get to your stuff
Mhm.
there, update it, because they even have voice recognition where you can call, say, you know,
Oh yeah, you call them.
I'm
like
so-and-so,
with,
I live
yeah.
here, please let in Jane Smith, who'll be coming.
Yeah.
It goes in there, and when the license plate reader hits it and figures out that it's Jane Smith, and then it automatically sends a message, a pop-up message to the screen that this person has, been authorized verbally by so-and-so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
You know, so, I mean, they have ways to move the needle way out there.
Yeah.
But I gotta, let's make sure it just works for us in terms of,
Mhm.
this is not like you were a football stadium, putting your cars
Right,
in.
yeah.
We don't need to overdo it.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing is we need to make sure that the software and the hardware is sufficient enough, because if we, let's say, go halfway with it, you may realize that, oh, now we're limited because we didn't update,
Mhm.
because they
The
work hand in
access database.
they work hand in hand. So we updated one thing, and now we're still being limited by so we kind of have to make sure we look at the entire range of what needs to be updated, as far
And
as
that's gonna require some work too on the
Yeah.
infrastructure in the gatehouse, because I know we put in a while back, we put in the cooling fans in the cabinets.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when we had that uninterrupted power supply issue that melted down up there, it
Mhm.
also fried the fans. So we have to put new fans in there because they'll
Yeah.
start throwing off immense heat, and with not enough air conditioning coming through there,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to have a built-in server rack to house it, and then have
Yeah.
it cooled, the usual cooling, the forced air cooling through the back end of it.
Yeah, and if you're gonna want these programs to work fast, yeah, they gotta be cooled. Because any heat, I know, because look at this
Mhm.
thing. Any heat that goes way too hot, it starts to throttle. It'll protect the computer, and then it'll slow everything down. Same thing with their systems is, if it gets too hot,
Mhm.
the system will just start working slower because it's protecting itself. So, yeah, we're gonna have to look over the entire thing, probably make an entire project out of it.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
But this is it's time for us to move in this direction, I think, too.
Oh, yeah.
Because the paper intent stuff is just getting a little bit
It's silly, isn't it?
old.
Mm-hmm.
You can't you can't get, I shouldn't have an issue getting something from Alan. Oh, I gotta look through the logs. I should just be able to pull it up PDF and send me an email.
Right.
Yeah, it's also a good.
It's environmentally
it's also,
friendly.
Yeah, it's also good for the liability reasons. If we say, oh, we're not sure that they were in Turtle Creek.
Mhm.
Now we actually can prove that if we actually scanned an ID, you did come. You came through here, and you can just search a name. I mean, it's like filtering through a phone.
Mhm.
I mean, it's going to be no time. I mean, going through paperwork is, tedious, and
Yeah.
I'm sure not very accurate
And-
at times.
And that's why I like the scanners that they have here, the handheld, because they can move
Mhm.
around
The
there,
handhelds are
type of
nice,
that.
yeah.
And even if you deploy 2 of those scanners, even an optical scanner that's mounted, if it didn't go through the handheld, you could just, put it there or something, just to put that in place, I think would help them a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Not to mention save us, $40-50 a month in printing for logs that they go through.
Yeah.
Any other new business from the board? I'm trying to think, did we miss anything, Leanne, that we need to approve? or anything? Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, I'll open it to the floor for the homeowners who braved the weather this evening to come out. Question? Yes?
Well, my name is Jean, as you guys know. I've had the same issues with the lot that we're on because it cattle corners, Apopka Vineland, and our gate.
Mhm.
So, the common area in the back, that's still not being cut properly. It just looks like a dirt, whatever you want to call. I sent you some photos, I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I did, and I was figuring you were gonna come to the meeting tonight, but that is gonna be replaced. It's one of the 3
Right.
pallets we ordered last week to replace.
It's
when
cut
I walked
whenever
through
they
it.
want, it's trimmed whenever they want. The sprinkler system, I spoke with someone about it before from, I think it was Brightview when they were there.
Mhm.
And it just shoots out the water onto the wall.
Okay.
And it doesn't water the grass. So, I mean, I look at all the other houses, cause I've taken the pictures from that angle, and I see a beautiful lawn, and I see again the crepe myrtle, which I still want, and I know I'm not gonna get it because I'm put in my place with this all the time, but I think it would enhance the back of our house, because we just seem to feel like we're the ones that are left out of how a lawn should look in the back. Everybody else have the nice grass, everybody else have the nice crepe myrtle tree, and we just have dirt and weeds and nothing else. So I really feel like we're being slighted, and I don't appreciate it.
Well, as I mentioned, it's been identified to replace when we did a walk around last week, because that was on the list for them to do. So as part of the sod replacement, they'll put a new pallet of sod down to take care of that, as well as take a look when they pull it up, the irrigation retrofit happens at the same time. So they'll take care of any irrigation problems at that point too.
Because even sometimes there's sticks or whatever from whatever they pull, and it's just thrown in the corner. That little triangle, and if the mower can't get there, they just leave it.
Mhm.
I mean, nothing, no hand weeding, nothing is done. So, yeah, I still want that crepe myrtle. I'm gonna keep asking for it, and there's gotta be a way to get it, because all the other houses have it in the back, and it looks really nice back there, and we're just stuck with just dirt. I just feel like we're just being slighted, and this has been going on for too long.
Okay. Yes?
In looking at the financials from March that we got from Leland for Avalon, we paid $237 to Turtle Creek for the clubhouse cable that we did not have. We were not notified when it was turned off, and yet Avalon was still paying for it, so I would like to know if you're gonna refund the money.
We haven't had a request come in. Bernadette should have stopped that, and I have to go back to my emails because she was notified not to do any cross-charging after a certain date, so I'd have to go back and research that. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, I do have it, I can show it to you if you want. Or if you want to get it from Bernadette, but here it is.
Okay.
So we would like that money back.
Okay, so I'll have to ask Bernadette on that. Okay. Yes?
You said that the road repairs were done.
Mm-hmm.
Back from September, you kept saying you were gonna reseal the streets.
Mm-hmm.
It's not done then. What is the plan for that? It was put off before, it was gonna get it done before the holidays, then it was too close to the holidays.
Well, if you remember back when we rolled out the project plans here, the road and curb repairs were separated from the road sealing. So that was done first, and then the road sealing will come thereafter. Obviously, we're in the not exactly conducive weather at this point for the sealing activity to happen. So again, that's something that we have the RFP ready. We're gonna refresh it with the vendors I quoted late last year, and then look at that in the late Q3 timeframe.
So now it's to the end of this year? Third
Late.
quarter is what you're looking at?
Yes, third quarter.
You only have 2 vendors you're looking at for this?
No, I said the vendors that we had, that didn't say 2. We had 4 quoted, and another 2 are coming on board to quote it also.
Well, just a suggestion, we were in Vizcaya the other day, and they just completed theirs, and it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Curb to curb, excellent job. You might find out who did that and get a quote from them if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And the second question is, when are you gonna reimburse Avalon for the water expense for that Pond 3? This has been dragging on way too long.
Well, we made our offer, and that's.
$800 as opposed to $1,100, $11,860.
Mm-hmm.
800, really? You think that's an offer?
Yeah, there's logic behind that we had put in the letter that our attorney communicated.
Which is not acceptable, so where do we go from here?
We're going to the courthouse.
Well, Jim's got another document encouraging this even more, if you wanna explain it here.
Well, as it turned out, I was on the Avalon board back in 2007 when I guess this first raised its head, because Avalon was questioning water bills at that time as well. And in a management report dated January 2008, Tonya Martinez, who was the property manager for Community Association, at that time said, "For your information, I put in a request for a new 1 1/4" water meter for Pond 3, which is no longer under Avalon. It's under the master. I'll be following up with Orange County Utilities on this." That indicates to the board and everybody that it had been changed to Turtle Creek in January of 2008, but as I understand it, it obviously hasn't been done. They didn't follow up, and apparently it was mistakenly transferred from TCA in 2006, 2007 timeframe to Avalon. And so,
So they realized it here.
so, you know, this has been going on for 11 years. And according to everything that the Avalon board had, it was under your purview and budget.
Okay, did that message get transferred to the Turtle Creek board on that? Because, I mean, we're looking at a situation where if it never got transferred or never made it out of a formal communication from Avalon to Turtle Creek, then again, nobody knew this was continuing to compound at the Turtle Creek level for this time, which is, I mean, it sounds like, what, 10 years ago on this? Well before.
January 2008, so
Yeah.
11. All I can say is this is the Avalon Homeowners Management Report that we got from Community Association. And I believe at that time,
That's the
both,
carpenter's company, correct?
Turtle Creek and Avalon were under Community Association, correct?
So it is.
If I understand it correctly.
So we were given the impression that it was changed. We were told by Leland over the years, Ken kept saying, "You guys got high bills, I don't know why. Irrigation. We researched this, we have documentation, spreadsheets from the county, that we paid for all that water to irrigate Turtle Creek property. Morally, you need to pay us back for it. I don't see where they come up with $800 as a reasonable answer for an $11,000 bill. And especially now Jim's got more documentation for it.
So Mike, can you explain to us why the reluctance to pay us back the money?
Well, because this issue has been ongoing 10, 11 years. Turtle Creek Board had no idea that it was happening, even up through 14 straight months of high bills, because to Dan's point, Leland was having, people check the irrigation system up there, which, they continue to check and continue to check. I don't think it ever fully solved it. It went down one time, I think I remember, from what the materials that were submitted. But at the same time, you can't just come back 10 years later and say, oh, by the way, this was never followed up on, this never got executed, and yet you have to pay for it. We didn't have knowledge of it 10 years ago or anything to that effect.
Ken kept talking about it. We go to every meeting, you know that, and he kept bringing it up. You got a problem, irrigation. Maria couldn't figure it out either. She said, we need to form a committee. I was a committee with Rich. I said, give me a hard copy of the bill. Looked at the bill, 3 meters, billing against the clubhouse. It's not rocket science, Mike. Every house has 2. All he had to do right then, if they would have took the time, the management company, to say, oh, you got a problem, here it is. And the stupid thing was called One Wood Chase Circle. There's no such address. So we had to find out where it is, and Richie knew because of his engineering background. We need to be reimbursed for this. This is not right. And Leland should partially eat the cost of it. If Ken couldn't figure it out back then, just the way he ate the cost of helping out with the overchargement of the dues. It's the same thing. You said he reduced the cost by $6,000. maybe Leland should kick in something to help if Turtle Creek doesn't
What
wanna pay the
reduction
whole
have we
thing.
ever gotten from Leland?
Pardon me?
We've never gotten a reduction from
Oh,
Leland.
no, you said that when it was figured out that we were paying too much, a higher percentage than we should have been for our dues. In the revised budget,
Mhm.
you said at a meeting, Leland reduced their yearly bill for that year by $6,000 to help Turtle Creek pay it. And I got copies of that budget where it shows it.
I'm aware of the budget and what it says, but I can tell you, we run favorable now in the budget from Leland and management fees because we're not using a half of FTE that was associated with the ARB that for the last 2 years. So we've always kept that in there as the money, and it will come out to about $6,000 favorable. So we have not reduced, Leland has not reduced our
Why
cost
mid-year
at all.
would you reduce that budget if it wasn't for that, which you said it was? It was to help supplement reimbursing the residents of Avon.
Because when we recast the budget, your budget has to go to a net zero. So if there's favorability known in certain accounts, you're gonna take that account down so I can get to a net zero budget. But Leland, you can check their invoices, they have not lowered one thing to us at Turtle Creek
That
in years.
revised budget, when it went down, management fees went down 6,000.
Mhm.
Legal costs in that same budget went up 6,000. We took
Mhm.
the 6,000 from them and gave it to lawyers.
Mhm.
It's supposed to come to the residents from what you explained at that meeting.
No, that's absolutely incorrect. Because we issued the credits to the residents on the account based upon what we had determined to do on that. There's no cash dividend checks coming out, and reshuffling money between general ledger accounts is nothing more than taking where I know there's favorability, and I obviously know I have a risk from a legal perspective. I'm gonna certainly take favorable money from one account and put it to where I'm gonna have unfavorable, most likely. That's just common budgeting 101.
So is this gonna be solved without wasting more money on lawyers? Because the only ones that are making money is the lawyers. And Avalon is paying twice. Because we're paying our lawyer
Mhm.
and your lawyer, and all of this is just really unfair. We don't need this aggravation between HOAs. So we just have to find a common ground and start working together, or like all of Avalon is gonna be moving out and you can finally have control. We need to be better with each other. And I keep saying this, and then these hateful things keep happening. We need to stop sending letters to residents because their garbage can was out on Monday. And they're calling me up going, what the hell is going on? And I'm sitting there going, Leland never sent that letter out when they were with us. Why are you now getting these letters? People are really getting pissed off with these ARB letters.
Well, I can
And then
tell-
I tell them, it's not us, go see Mike.
Well, I can tell you, I don't issue the letters. That comes from Leland Management. I don't even see the letters before they come out. I get a dump every month to put into the charts. Leland issues all the covenant violations
Well,
throughout the
they need to
community.
settle down on some of these violations, because this one homeowner was very, very vocal and very upset that she got a letter about a garbage can
Mhm.
being out on Monday.
So
They're
Mike,
leaving town. Do we need to be this pissy about it?
What about the people that are putting garbage out on Tuesday and they're not coming through on Thursday? I mean, it's all through the community, so, I mean, if you're gonna go to the point where you're doing garbage cans, then yard waste should be part of it too, because yard waste doesn't get picked up till Thursday.
Mhm.
I mean, there's people up and down the street that do it.
Mike, I have a voicemail from Maria in which she clearly states that you and other board members are walking the neighborhood issuing violations.
Mm.
I saw you, Mike. I was in the garage, you were walking down the street looking up
Maria,
at,
you left
looking
me
up
the
at roads,
voicemail.
writing
I
down
never
addresses.
said that. I never said the board
You
wants the
did, you
community.
did, you said board members.
Do you have the voicemail?
Yeah,
I can certainly retrieve it.
Okay.
You said board members.
Because the board has not done
I
that,
would
so
not
I would
say
like
that
to
the
know.
board
I would
So
like to hear
why
it.
are board members being seen with boards in their hands making notations? Because you said your person, Maria, your person, and board members. That is very specifically what you said.
Okay, but I can tell you, board members aren't walking around with a clipboard.
We're not.
So
If it-
that's on recording right now.
Mhm.
So if we see you walking around with a clipboard, what can we assume is occurring?
I've been asked to check trees for people who have put in for have their front trees trimmed, to take pictures and send those over and catalog that for when we do the common tree trim requests. You know, I've had some people ask to come and take a look at, they've gotten a violation for declining lawn, and they wanted to know what was the problem, so I'll have to walk over there and take a look, because I don't see those pictures, I don't see anything but a report once a month on that stuff. But if you see me with a clipboard, feel free to stop me. I really don't have a problem with anybody coming up to ask me what I'm doing. If you have the chance the rare chance to see me out walking and not being at work, feel free to stop me then.
So I have a question for Mike. Mike, who is sharing your responsibilities for writing violations?
The only person who writes violations is Maria.
Maria? Okay, so you're going
Leland.
around with a clipboard?
I have never walked around with a clipboard.
So you're getting all of the violation notices from Maria?
I don't get any no.
So what is your responsibility as the ARB person?
When people submit change requests, we schedule a meeting, we review it based on the covenants, and we issue either an approval or a denial.
So you have nothing to do with violations?
The only time I will raise a violation usually is what you heard earlier, is I did notice people putting curbing in to lay concrete. I know that's thousands of dollars. And so I essentially did not issue a violation. Since the homeowner, I have essentially the builder's number, called them to say we did not approve a circular driveway, and you need to file an ARB request for the circular driveway.
So Maria.
But there is no violation. If they had continued and ignored us, that would have been a call to Maria, and Maria would have issued the violation.
Okay, so Maria, how often are you in Avalon?
Once or twice a month.
Pardon?
Once or twice a month, management, because it's not Maria who's sending the letters, but management is in the community.
And who is management?
Leland Management.
I understand that, but
Right.
who is it?
Leland Management.
I understand that.
It's not the same
Who, in your
person, but yeah.
voicemail, you specifically said, my technician. So who is your technician?
I don't have a technician, I have an inspector, Jessica Ashworth, but she works for me, so she wouldn't be in touch with the community. And she is just really a neutral person that has no idea of the dynamics or who lives where, and she sees a violation, she issues them out.
And she's in the neighborhood once a month,
Yes.
in Avalon once a month.
Turtle
And
Creek
in once a month,
Turtle
she
Creek.
can literally come up with that many violations?
If she
How
does,
long is
does.
she in the
Because
neighborhood?
sometimes it takes an hour, sometimes an hour and 15 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes, it depends on compliance. That's standard across all community association management.
Well, that's an awful lot of violations
Yeah,
to be
I
observing in
agree.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
That just seems absolutely astounding, because I also own property in another neighborhood that is managed by Leland, and I had already checked, and they literally spend days, not 45 minutes. So I want to repeat one more time, and I'd like to hear an answer one more time for the recording. There is not a single board member sitting at this table or absent from this meeting who is writing violations.
That is correct.
That's
Nope.
correct. Never written a violation.
Nothing to do with it.
I got better things to do.
Yeah, me too.
It's not my job,
Yeah, not my job.
so.
Okay, then why did Avalon get a certified letter that our social sign was up on the pool fence 10 minutes after the social was over?
There you go.
And we got a certified letter saying that we were in violation.
Maria, did your person issue that violation?
I would assume yes, and that, because I got the email to say the sign is up, and it's part of the signs that we had went through last year on that, so it's a violation. Unfortunately, we sent it out to make sure that we're enforcing it. Obviously, it's only temporary, and it'll be taken down, but again, we just can't ignore it for the simple fact that we don't
That's
want
the
it.
only
So
way.
you sent the email to Maria to notify her
I
of
got
that?
I got the email with the picture, and I said, yeah, it's gonna have to have.
Who sent you the email and the picture?
I believe it was Maria, I'd have to go back and look.
No, it
So
wasn't.
Maria
It
was in
Ted.
the neighborhood.
I was taking the sign
I never
down.
even saw the sign this time.
You
Never
were
even
across the
saw
street
it.
taking the picture, and
I
I was
never
taking it
saw
down.
it.
Come on, that's not even
I
rational.
never even saw it.
Oh,
Wait,
Lord.
so I have another question though, so you're saying that was a temporary sign, what about the neighbors that put temporary signs in their yards every week?
In
Or
terms
no grass
of,
cutting.
No grass cutting, every week there are signs, that's a temporary
I have it.
sign.
Yeah.
I do it
Catherine,
sometimes.
yeah.
I do
And-
it.
and-
When the
and that's no
landscaper
different than,
doesn't
let's
put
say,
a
your
cone
high school
out, which they
graduate
haven't
sign,
done
that
in
would
2
also get
months,
it. Yeah,
I
I'm
would
not,
sign
I'm
that.
not
My
debating
neighbors
that.
don't put
You
up
get violations
signs,
for
they
that,
put up
and
a
violations
road.
go out for those.
I
Why
would
can't
put
you
up
So,
a
I
road.
mean,
I'll put up a road.
I
know they're
I'll
gonna be
put up
taken
a
out.
road.
Yeah.
I used to do
But
that. I
then
thought
there's
the signs
There's
were
no
better.
verbiage
I
to
thought
say
signs
temporary
offend me.
okay or not okay.
Okay,
So
well, I hope
get
the road
it,
does
and
it, because I'll
it
do
goes
that
away.
too then. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm with you.
Put up a
because-
road.
Landscaper should put a
Put up a
cone.
road.
Yeah,
Why don't
and
we
they
get the
get
landscaper to
violations.
put a
Put up a
cone?
road.
Yeah.
No, let's get the landscaper to use a cone, like
Put
they're
up a road.
supposed to,
And
and when
not
I
address
say
it.
Put up a
It's
road.
hard to enforce a violation when you're doing the
I'm not,
violation.
yeah, I used to put up a rope, I
I
made a
mean,
sign.
that's
I-
the problem. How do you do that? How can you enforce
ridiculous.
violations when the board members are doing violations? That's a hard thing.
Send me a violation. I
No,
mean,
no,
I
I'm
don't know what
just
to
saying.
say. Why
I'm just
don't,
saying.
you know, then,
You've got
why
an
doesn't
ARB
Avalon look in
guy
the mirror
who
and
does
get their
the ARB.
landscaper to put a cone out? Then there's no
So,
sign.
It's,
You
I'm
know?
just saying, it's pick and choose, you know? It's
And that's
like-
what you're doing. Talk to Avalon about their landscaping.
Well, no,
Because
that's-
then the sign goes away,
I'm not
doesn't
picking and
it?
choosing, I'm not talking about
But you
landscaping,
are.
I'm talking about signs.
So you
A
had no
A
issues
temporary
with
sign
writing.
is
So-
put up
so
because
if
of
this-
the landscaping.
If there are temporary signs out when Jessica or whoever from Leland comes through and does their inspection, then
Then
I would
a
assume
violation.
that would be cited, and then a letter would go out the next, whatever, 24, 40 hours, I don't know how long it takes to process it.
Difficult
That
to
would-
believe.
That would be that's the normal, I guess,
There
way it
is
goes.
no possible way Leland would have been out on a Sunday afternoon taking down a picture of a sign that was in the process of being taken down, and then sending a registered letter? You wanna talk about wasting money?
I can tell you the timing of it, because I knew it wasn't gonna get there on time, even though we had to send it. Because it was on a Friday, remember, we had it, and you told me it's not gonna get there
Well,
on
anytime
there.
we have a social, it's going back up.
Catherine, are you flat out denying that you did not take that
It
picture?
doesn't
I
of the
did
sign?
not take a picture of the sign.
I looked right at you while you were doing
Okay,
it.
well, damn, I
With your
wasn't taking a
iPad.
picture
You were
of
walking the
that.
dog, you
I don't
don't
even
have-
carry my iPad in the neighborhood. I didn't carry
This
an
is your
iPad.
point. It
Well, you
doesn't
and
matter.
Matt might text
I
back and
didn't
forth.
Are
do
you
it this
saying
year.
that you're waiting for Avalon's board to request that Turtle Creek? is
Be assigned, yep. Well, I need something to review. I mean, our attorney needs to look at something, it's gotta be an executable document to say that these rights as stated here need to be,
Okay.
you know.
So if Avalon board gets our attorney to write up,
Yeah, and they'll send it
Letter of
to
assignment.
Tom, and
Got it,
then,
yeah.
and then he'll review it like he has to do everything, basically.
He was the person that recommended that.
He suggested it.
And he didn't say a lawyer had to write anything. He
That's
just
right.
said that it could be reassigned back
And
to
he was gonna
him.
Well,
discuss
I-
it with the
But I
board
think
and find out.
legally,
what
because
I just can't send an email to say it's reassigned, that's not, that's
Exactly.
just
It's gonna have
not
to be
responsible.
documented. So that's no use, it's gonna have to be documented, so it comes
Yeah.
down to us
I mean,
as
there's
a covenant, so
two hundred
that it has to
seventy-seven
be
homes
done.
and $500,000 of plus of
Right. That
of
has
income
to be
come through.
yeah.
That's
You gotta
right.
protect
it's
yourself with a
ridiculous.
lawyer.
So it doesn't happen again, so it's ours, it does
Yeah.
have to be done legally, yes.
And then it'll be witnessed and,
Right,
whatever,
exactly.
notarized, whatever the process is for that. Yes, sir.
While we're discussing this assignment or not, I just submitted an ARB request to Avalon today.
Mhm.
Do I need to do it with them now, or?
Yeah, you
Because
can
Avalon,
send
I
it.
got 30 days, and if I gotta wait for them to approve it, according to your website, you've got up to 60 days to approve it. Now 90 days,
we have
That-
30
and then, oh geez, my quote's expired 2 months ago.
Now, if you put it in, Mike, they review every
Both
Friday.
associations
Just send it, okay.
Both
Good, thank you.
associations are 30 days, on average, we are under 14 days.
Well, no, I
Yeah.
see you, okay.
Yeah, because it's usually, I
Well,
think,
with
they
all
have
the,
a- they have a-
all the noise going on here
Yeah.
tonight, I get a little,
Yeah.
what the hell do I
So
need
you
to
don't know
do?
what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to invest in a house.
Mm. understand.
So
Yeah.
Maria, my husband, and I'm sure he's been sending emails about trees behind us. How long does that take, and he's sent, pictures of the violations, how long does that take before the homeowner gets a violation, and do they have to respond to get it taken care of?
So, I viewed the palm fronds,
Yes.
and as I was explaining to the board, that would not be normally something that I would send a violation on when the first fronds fall that way. It's just a scheduled maintenance item, not necessarily a violation. So I have deferred to the board there, for them to let me know. It was not something that I would usually and typically do unless there were multiple layers and a lack of maintenance. And it doesn't look like the first fronds fell down. So it would really be up to the board if this is considered to be a violation at this time or if it can wait.
So you're saying there's only one layer down?
Yeah,
Okay.
that I saw.
So would you like a picture with more than one layer down?
No, when I go on my next inspection, if it looks like it needs to be trimmed at that time, I would send a letter, unless I'm instructed differently.
Yes.
I have one thing to say and then I'm gonna leave. We moved to this community because we heard a lot of wonderful things about the community. I find it very heartbreaking to live in this community and to have to deal with a lot of opposition. It should be a community where we're working together for the common good of everyone that's in it. And I see a lot of vitriol, I see a lot of nitpicking, and this is not where I wanna live. And this is a place that we chose to live in our final years. Right? I sold my house right by Universal. Pete sold his house in Rockledge, and we bought the house here because we heard wonderful things. But I come to these meetings and I hear things, and I don't understand how it's a community. It's Turtle Creek community. We have Avalon, we have this, we have that, but it's one community. And everyone should be working together for the betterment. And I find a lot of, it's just too much, I can't handle it. And technically, we're ready to move. And that shouldn't be. We just bought this house. He's in his 70s, I'm in my 60s. We don't want to move again. But when I see what happens in this community, I don't want to stay here. I'm not happy in it. I'm just looking at my backyard, I go out, I dress it up, we cut the grass, we fix everything, and then I go out there and I look and I see what happens, what we discussed before. And I'm saying to myself, why do I have to see that on my side and nobody else has it?
Absolutely.
Why?
You should.
We're paying 2 HOAs. Why is there always a constant war? This should not be. And if I have to maybe get everybody in the community together and maybe rally and picket or do whatever it is, I'm gonna call people in. Because seriously, I've had it. I really have had it. I'm ready to go.
I will join you gladly.
No, I'm going. I want us to work together. It's for the betterment of the community. We want our homes to look good. We want everyone to get along. It's to make us happy. Why am I moving in a community where every day there's always something going on? This one is nitpicking of this one, that one is nitpicking. Why?
Until 4 years ago, it was a very pleasant place to live. Things have changed drastically.
No, it's gotta go back because it's not what I'm seeing and it's not what I'm hearing. And it breaks my heart. I don't wanna live here.
When you have a board member who is constantly demanding things within a certain time limit and suing our board because she did not get them within a certain time limit, are you kidding me, Catherine?
According to the law.
Oh, come on, Catherine.
There
There was none of that before you got on this board. None of it. You need to straighten up and fly right.
You need to quit speaking to me that way. You
Just-
need to
just
stop
make it.
talking to me this way.
Just
Mike,
make it.
as a board member, we
Just
do not
make it.
deal with this.
I don't care if you are a
I
board
think we
member.
adjourn the meeting, please.
Yeah, no, this is
Let's
done.
adjourn it.
This
We're
is
out.
done. I'm not
That's
gonna
the way
be
to
yelled
do it.
at. This is
I vote to
ridiculous.
adjourn the meeting.
I got one more question.
Meeting
Catherine, did you take a picture of that sign with any kind of electronic?
I did not take a
I
picture
saw
of the
you.
sign.
Stop, it doesn't matter.
I did not take a picture of the sign. Good Lord. And I had nothing to do with the violation that went out on it. For heaven's
We
sake.
complained about it last year.
I
People were
complained
trying to have
about
a
it
little
3
fun.
years
You
ago,
don't come to
Dan,
the
not this
parties.
last
You
one.
got a social committee over there that says.
Jesus Christ. Are we done with this?
So we need to officially adjourn it, right?
We did.
We did.
Oh, we did,
Yeah,
okay.
God, goodness. I'm not gonna be spoken to like that.
Just so you know, we're still looking
Has the
at
meeting
just
ended?
the legality.
Yes, it has.
They didn't stop the meeting when they were running.
Are we off?
Are the cameras off,
No, they don't turn off until everyone leaves the room. That's our policy.
including all of you?
That's correct.
Well, I'm not
We
gonna
have
leave
to
my
wrap
camera
up.
in here.
Thanks for the charge.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
Just submitted it, garbage, and